Hey guys, this is the first Patreon Q&A of the new season. If you want to be in next week's video, check the link in the description. The thread for the new Q&A should be up there already, I'm pretty sure. But as for this video, we got over 200 questions, which is wild. I was only expecting like 15 or 20. So thank you guys so much for showing that much interest and wanting to ask these questions. Nightmare Gaming 875 asks, what's your thoughts on how the final battle in One Punch Man could go down? I.e. the fight with God and maybe some apostles he may have, who could die permanently, etc., and how would you recommend it end? As for the final battle, it will obviously, as we all know, will be God versus Saitama, but I think it's going to be very different than what we imagine it to be. Like, I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for Saitama at all, because God, at this point in time, is probably stronger than Saitama. And I know that's like blasphemy to say that, but if you really think about it, his power is like universe ending, or galaxy ending at minimum. I'm not like a calculative power scale or anything like that, I'm just guessing. But considering the power that he's able to give Cosmic Fear Garo, who can like shoot gamma ray bursts and fight toe-to-toe with Saitama for a little bit, I think it's safe to say that God at like his full strength is way beyond that. I mean, right now he's kind of split into like multiple entities or whatever, and different dimensions and whatever's going, you know, truly on with him. But, you know, at the end of the series, full power God, no restrictions or anything, going against Saitama, it's going to be absurd. Especially because Saitama, while he does have unlimited power, he kind of needs to get pushed to get there. Like, he's not always at an unlimited power level, if that makes sense. Because as we saw it depicted in that scale when he was fighting against Cosmic Fear Garo, it kind of just raises and raises. So if God doesn't kill him with like a galaxy gamma ray burst, quasar laser or whatever, he'll keep pushing him to the point of where we're going to see a fight like the end of Gurren Lagann. And that was like the craziest final battle I've ever seen in anime. It might be the craziest. Maybe there's one crazier, I don't know of it, but I assume one in Murata will probably surpass the final Gurren Lagann fight. So look forward to that. I mean, they might not even be able to fight in the universe because they'll just destroy it. They'll probably have to fight in like another dimension or something, which is obviously a thing we've seen from Blast and God being trapped there or whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be like maybe 10 plus years from now before we see it. Ejongatirian 3951, sorry if I said your name wrong. What is your "this changed everything" moments? So I actually got a few of these questions here, and I'll just put them all up right here. Totally understandable, because I title a lot of my videos "This changed everything," or, you know, whatever. And it's because I don't know what I'm going to title the videos before they come out. I mean, I wish I did, you know, because we don't know what's going to happen in the spoilers before they're released. So it's like when they're released, so I have like 3 minutes to read it, and then I have like 10 minutes to try to like comprehend what's going on, make the best analysis as I can, and then I have like 20 minutes or whatever, how long it takes to record it, stream of consciousness best that I can, and then I have like an hour or a little more to edit the video. And then as it's, you know, uploading to YouTube, I have to think of a title, and I can't title the video like Luffy, you know, kills everyone, because then that's just straight up spoiling the chapter, and then people are going to get more upset at me already because, you know, they don't want me to make the spoilers in the first place. So I'm like, oh, this changes everything. That's ambiguous and exciting. And I know that I say it a lot, but it's like, I just need to get the videos out fast, and sometimes I just have to recycle titles. I know it sucks and it's cringe. I'm sorry. I'll try to be better. Man of Hoff 2623 asks, if you were to make your own anime or manga, what would it be about? So I do have plans to make that eventually, not anytime soon. I mean, I know every YouTuber has plans to make their own series, but I kind of want to get to the point of where I have millions of dollars. I know, funny. I would like to just get all that money and like throw it at a really good, competent team. Maybe for Amazon Prime or whatever the top streaming platform for animation is at that time. We all get together, we brainstorm it for like a year or two, get it just right, and then we just put out a really good product. It's not so much about me trying to get my artistic vision out there to the T. It has to be everything I want it to be. I would love to collaborate with other people and just make something really good, because I think that I can do that. That might be pompous or whatever, but I don't know, I think I have some good ideas. So look out for that in like 10 to 15 years. One day, I'm gonna put out that series, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. Ferds6510 asks, oh, by the way, Ferds has been here since I think 2018. So what's up, Ferds? Man, I'm glad to see the Q&A back, Z. My question is, which 3 One Punch Man webcomic events are you looking forward to the most seeing adapted in the manga? So, spoilers for what's gonna happen in the future of the One Punch Man manga. If you don't wanna hear what I'm gonna say, you know, just skip like a minute ahead. So the My Mask Monster reveal, I think that's gonna be amazing. Should be coming up relatively soon. We might even be able to see it this year, possibly. I think that's really gonna pull a lot of people back into the manga. Looking forward to the manga adaptation of Genos confronting Drive Knight and the conversation they have, because that's gonna be very different in the manga. And then of course, our boy Boros coming back in the Saiyan recovery pod. That is gonna blow the lid off of the internet, probably, or at least the manga internet. But that's many years from now, right? Maybe 5, 6 years, something like that. FYLPOC asks, no questions, just appreciation for seeing you alive, because as you surely know, the state of certain people around the world right now definitely makes you thankful for not being at the everyday risk of brutally losing your life. Hey, you're very right about that. Thank you for the kind words. And yes, I realize that I am very fortunate and have the life that I do. But for everyone who doesn't, and you're struggling or you're in a very dangerous place, I'm sorry about that. I hope it gets better for you. I know that sounds disingenuous and I'm like smiling, but I really do mean that. And if you're watching this video and you're hearing my words, I mean, that means you're alive to be able to do that. So just keep fighting the good fight, and I think things will get better for you. I know it's easier said than done, but yeah, stay strong, guys. Evan Smith 2832 asks, as a fan of Eastern animation, what do you think about the historic success of Ni Za 2? Have you seen it, and what do you think it means for the animation industry, both Chinese and international? So I actually recently heard about this movie because it apparently broke like 2 billion in China, which is wild. I mean, I know there's way more people in China than like America, so it's probably easier for a movie to make that much money over there. But $2 billion in America, I think, is like Avatar or like Avengers Endgame, right? Only 2 movies have ever been able to do that, so pretty big deal. And I haven't seen this movie, but I have seen the trailer, and it just looks like they hit all the right buttons on it. And I'm sure it's also probably really well written too, right? It probably has a very cohesive, good story with well-rounded 3-dimensional characters, kind of like how Puss in Boots 3 did. So as for the impact it's going to have, I think there's just going to be a lot of copycats of it pretty much, but I hope it inspires people to just make good content rather than just trying to make a profit off of content. And I know I'm a YouTuber, it's hypocritical for me to say that, but I do hope they at least try to do that, at least for us enjoying the content's sake. Corey Dean 2330 asks, Zhoniin, One Punch Man, what is your expectation for season 3 animation quality wise? So I'm expecting pretty much the same as season 2. Like, there's going to be some good moments to it for sure, but most of it is probably going to have a mild reception. Jesus or Jesus BQ1NV asks, personal question for you, do you like to play any games? If so, what are your favorites currently? I only play like 1 to 2 video games a year for like 3 weeks at a time. So like last year, I played Final Fantasy Rebirth for like a month straight. Incredible. Loved that game. I like lived in that game for a little bit, but then I had to cut myself off. Other than that, if it's not like a big RPG that I'm familiar with, I always play like the new Pokemon games, but as for this year, definitely going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. For sure going to dedicate 4 weeks to that and then just, you know, sever myself from it. Eli Cash 8951 asks, Darkshine and black representation in One Punch Man. So yeah, I don't even know if Darkshine is technically considered black because, you know, his backstory. I don't really know if there is representation in it, to be honest. Hacks9404 asks, when do you think the 4th Ninja Village arc redraw will be announced? So if you would have asked me a couple months ago when we were like knee deep into the backstory of Blast and Empty Void and all that stuff, if you would have said like, yeah, this is going to get redrawn again, I would have been like, please, no, wait, no, let's just get through it. And then it happened. So at this point, it's very possible it could get redrawn again, but it just seems like they're just trying to adapt the webcomic version, and they're just going to call it a day on that. So I think this is it. At least I hope so. Laffy99 says, what made you start getting into making YouTube videos as a career? So I kind of just grinded around jobs, you know, trying to find what I ultimately wanted to do for many years until I came across YouTube. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I feel like I can do this, because I was always like that guy in school that you can like come up to and talk to about pop culture stuff or whatever. So I was like, I feel like this is a skill, if you want to call it that, that I have, that I could show other people. Like I like talking about things. I mean, who doesn't? But you know what I mean. Like, so yeah, that's how I got into it. I just saw other people doing it, and I was like, hey, I could do that. I want to do that, and I did it. Matthew Harvey D4S asks, do you think King will take control of a robot to win a fight against the organization using his video game skills, possibly Genos? Yes, it is very possible that that could happen. It doesn't seem like it's headed towards that, at least right now, because King's kind of just doing like manual training, right? Like he's like physically training himself, kind of like how Saitama did. Not as intense, of course, but I'm really curious to see where King's arc is headed. But it is very likely that he could wind up controlling a robot, you know, because video game skills. Jason Hill 1729 asks, what is your opinion on the ending of My Hero Academia? And if negative, where do you think the series went off the rails? I don't like the ending of My Hero. It's the truth. I'm sorry, but I just don't. I think it went off the rails maybe after the My Villain Academia arc or something. There was a point where I think Horikoshi got severely burned out, and I don't think he ever fully recovered from it, and he just seemed to, I don't know, take the series in a different direction. The Gospel Project asks, my biggest One Piece theory is that Emu is a fishman. Yeah, it's possible. That's not the personal theory that I'm subscribing to. I think there is some kind of fishman or mermaid related to Emu. Actually, me and Sai went over one of Luna PN's theories, I think last 2 weeks ago. And there was like a possibility that Emu ate the original Poseidon, you know, the mermaid, and then that made them immortal, possibly, or something like that. So what I'm saying is there's definitely some traction to what you're saying here. But I just truly don't know. There's just so much mystery and possibilities as for what's going on with Emu. But there's definitely a chance that it could be revealed that they're like a fishman or something, for sure. Wayfarer 5894 asks, what video game or video game series do you think would make a great anime under manga? So Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it's already kind of an anime, you know, but if they just straight up made it an anime series and changed the story, you know how they change it with the remake and rebirth from the original, if they change it again, stretch it out a little more, I think it would be a fantastic anime series. Apostle DGN asks, who's your favorite character in Invincible? Mine is Battle Beast. Yeah, Battle Beast is cool, but as for my favorite characters, this is gonna sound bad, and I don't mean it to come across that way, but I think Omni-Man might be my favorite character, and I just say that because I was thinking about it. It's like, whenever he came on screen, I felt that I was the most invested in the series at that point. I mean, he's just so interesting. You know, he's a fantastically tragic character, and he has, you know, that character arc that's still happening. But aside from him, I like Alan the Alien. I like Mark, of course. He's great MC. There's just a lot of great characters to like in that series. Okay, but 3572 asks, if you were a villain, which anime/manga will you be in, and what type of villain will you be and what power? Maybe the My Hero Academia world, because that's like the least kind of chaotic one that I can really think of, where if I had some kind of like quirk that I could use to like take over the corporate world or something like that, and I would just be like, you know, like a real life villain, like the CEOs of companies and stuff. TB Brown 24/7 asks, is you looking forward to watching the new My Hero anime? You talking about vigilantes? Yes, I am, and I will be making content on it, so look out for that. Sam McFarlane 2494 asks, are you excited for My Hero Vigilantes anime coming out next month? And are you going to cover the manga in a video or do a reaction? Yes, I am. Eric Osick 8060 asks, how long does it take to make a general reaction video to a new chapter, more specifically One Piece? Also, thanks for making the content you do. It's appreciated. Hey, thank you, Eric, for checking it out. I appreciate it. So, it takes me around 2 hours And that's me rushing. Like, I am rushing because, you know, it's first come, first serve in the anime content world. Deep1012 asks, Naruto Shippuden related question. So as we know, Obito has the ability to be intangible for 5 minutes at a time, and it allows him to dodge physical attack, but what about non-physical attacks? Is Obito also invulnerable to genjutsu when he's intangible, in your opinion? I'm sorry, I genuinely don't know. Has this ever been addressed in the series? I guess it hasn't if you've been asking. So I guess it's a matter of opinion, unless there's some kind of supplementary material out there from like a data book or something that explains this. But yeah, I genuinely don't know. I'm sorry. Could Invincible defeat the S-Class? He could certainly defeat some S-Class heroes. As for all of them, probably not. He would probably have a lot of problems taking on Blast because of Blast's warping abilities and his control over the cosmos, or whatever his true abilities are. Darth says Nuff. Sorry if I said that wrong. What was the first anime you watched, and what anime will you never get bored of watching? So the first anime I watched, I think, was Guyver. Bebo Fett asks, do you think Invincible would be one of the best animated shows if it had Demon Slayer level animation? So I already think it is the best animated show, probably. I mean, maybe I have recency bias, but if it had Demon Slayer level animations, it would be more popular than it is, because it's definitely gaining more popularity with each season, as it should. But if it had the Demon Slayer stuff going on, it would probably go down as the best, maybe. JG Grant 3654 asks, I'd love to see a nice summary of your favorite, most valuable cards and graded cards that you own from all the different TCGs you collect from. Excited for what you start this new series, so shout out you, homie. Hey, thanks, JG Grant, I appreciate it. So I'll have to make another video dedicated to that. Maybe I'll put it on the Zodi Might channel that I have, but I just have Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Those are the two card games and series that I like. I'm also a little worried to show exactly what I have, because I feel like some people are going to judge me harshly for how much some of these cards are worth. It's just because I appreciate them as like art pieces, and also they're like minor investments in a way. I'm not saying invest your money into these cards. You should, if you really want to invest money, put it in like the S&P 500. That's not advice. But I'm not like a hardcore collector. This is pretty much all the graded cards that I have. And I kind of just wanted to make this thing as just kind of like, sounds pretentious, but like an art piece. Like I like to look at stuff, like the figures and this and that stuff, and Blackbeard and Luffy. I just like looking at stuff. And it's like a conversation piece when I have people over, you know. Lucas Delover 8186, sorry if I said your name wrong. Do you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs? Will you wear wigs? If yes, when will you wear wigs? This question could go a few ways. So are you talking about like cosplay, or are you talking about like, is this like a wig? So no, for cosplay, I'm not really interested in it. And no on the second one, but I have used like minoxidil and finasteride before, and it drastically changed the volume and density of my hair, but it was like giving me side effects that I didn't really want to deal with. So now I'm back to this crappy hair, but maybe I'll take a trip to Turkey and try to sort it out. Emo G Boy 35 asks, I love the One Piece reaction. What's your favorite arc in the show, and who's your favorite Straw Hat? Hey, thank you, Emo G Boy, I appreciate it. My favorite arc is Eni's Lobby. Just so good. My favorite Straw Hat's probably Zoro. Deepak Kumar, UD9BY, hope I said your name right. How would you have improved My Hero Academia's ending? I feel like I had this more in my mind a couple months ago, but I really haven't touched on My Hero since it's ended. I probably would have made the villains stick to their guns. Random type of guy. If you could reshape the ending of JJK, or at least the final arc overall, how would you have done it? Thanks, to keep up the great work. Love the vids. Hey, thanks, random type of guy. So I do want to make a video about this, dedicated to how I think the series could have continued for like another 200 chapters. But the long and the short of it is that Megumi kind of would have became like an anti-villain, went through with the merger, and then that kind of changed like the landscape of the world in a way. Tyler Roberts 7315 asks, been a huge follower since your early days, Zhoniin. My question is, if you do answer, it is, what are your thoughts on Chainsaw Man, Sakamoto Days, and Kagurabachi? Would you ever consider covering them in the future? With the recent chapters of KB and Sakamoto, I think they were going to pick up fast in popularity. So, I like Chainsaw Man. Really enjoyed the first part of it. Haven't really been following part 2 so much. However, Sakamoto Days, I'm working on it right now. My chapter reviews for Sakamoto Days will be out maybe in April sometime, possibly. And then Kagurabachi will follow suit. Sleepwalk Studios asks, what was your biggest takeaway from My Hero as a whole? What characters did you gravitate towards, and what is your perspective on their arcs? A big question that lingers in my mind is if there was a version of My Hero where Midoriya keeps One for All. Any thoughts on your end? Additionally, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to say I appreciate the work you do. I always look forward to seeing your videos. Hey, thank you, Sleepwalk Studios. I appreciate it, my friend. My biggest takeaway on My Hero as a whole is that I feel like it was destined for greatness, but I think Horikoshi kind of became a victim of the manga industry system, and the series maybe didn't go the way that he ultimately wanted it to. The characters I gravitated towards were Alma. He's one of my favorite characters ever. His run up till like chapter 100 and whatever, when he delivers the United States of Smash, is all-time great, incredible, and his ultimate final overall arc, it's fine. I appreciate he didn't die. I was totally expecting him to. And other than that, Izuku's was kind of expected, but him getting the suit in the end kind of nullifies any kind of sacrifice he made. And I think the whole narrative about hard work over inherent talent or whatever kind of falls flat. Kanish Capoeira 7704 asks, how do you feel about live action anime? It's so hard to do most anime without being 90% CGI, so without MCU-like budgets, it's hard to do a quality adaptation. Yeah, it is hard to do a quality adaptation as we've seen, but I think One Piece is doing a great job. I didn't have high expectations for the Netflix One Piece, but it pleasantly surprised me. In some ways, it's better than the actual series, or at least the portion of the story that it covers. Yes, it's a bit cringe at parts, but it kind of has to be, I guess, to cater to that audience, but it's just sensitive. Like, live action anime is very sensitive, and it needs to be done with care the way that One Piece was. Angus Horrocks asks, who and MHA are currently the top 10 strongest in the series? Oh, and get the USJ Nomu in there. Roar, yeah. USJ Nomu, man, what a forgotten legend. The top 10 strongest, I can't think of the 10 off the top of my head, but I guess it's got to be like Bakugo, right? Not really sure how strong Izuku is with the cyber suit, but I guess he's got to be pretty strong. Jesus or Jesus Leroa or Iora 907 asks, what are your top 10 favorite shows and characters? I don't know if I can give you 10 right now, but my favorite shows at the moment are Invincible, Severance, and The Boys. Favorite characters? I really like Homelander. I know you're not supposed to, but man, he's just so oddly interesting. I like Mark on Invincible, Omni-Man, Alan the Alien. RGA Link asks, hey Zhoniin, if we ever get the chance to ask a mangaka about their series, how would we frame our question? Should we present a leading question that reflects the community's consensus or keep it open-ended? Even if there's a chance the mangaka might avoid it, any tips would be greatly appreciated. So first of all, if you do get the chance to speak with a manga, it seems like you might have a chance to do it. I would get someone who's fluent in Japanese to come with you to do it. And then make sure your question's good, because you can't just ask them like anything. And you have to word it in a very specific way. You can't ask them about spoiler stuff unless the series is already over. You can't be too gratuitous with the question either. I would say take a lot of time to think about what you want to ask and make sure it's meaningful. Because it's very likely if you try to give them some complex question, they're just going to give you like a 2-word answer to it. So find out what they're interested in and try to tie that into the question, so that they themselves will be interested in it and want to give you a more open-ended answer. Arturo Campomanes 8315 asks, do you feel like YouTube is your dream job, or is it just become your main hobby? In retrospective, this project really took off and I want to know how you feel about it. So yeah, I guess it is what would be considered a dream job, because for somebody like me, this is I guess what I was meant to do in a way. I'm not like a scholar or anything like that. I didn't have dreams of becoming like an engineer or a programmer or a doctor or anything like that. I kind of just wanted to express myself artistically and make some money from it. So yeah. Clyde5769 asks, what is your favorite fight scene from any manga? Man, it's really hard to narrow it down. I'm not really good with like the favorite questions, because my mind is just so scattered all the time. But I really enjoyed Adam versus Zeus in Record of Ragnarok. I thought that was pretty epic. We're just talking about manga, I'm assuming, right? You said manga, not talking about anime. Garo versus Orochi was a lot of fun. I really loved that at the time. Star and Stripe versus Shigaraki / All for One. That was a lot of fun. I have to think about this because I know there's others. Just can't think right now. Sal Japal 3 asks, I don't know if you read the Invincible comics, but if you haven't, which characters do you see surviving the whole series? So I'm very close to starting that. I've just been going through the Prime series again. And then once I'm done, I'm going to read all of the compendiums. But I really don't know who... I mean, I guess Mark is going to survive. But other than him, it's like all bets are off. Especially after... I don't want to spoil anyone if you haven't seen Season 3 yet. But especially after the, the guy dies on top of the bridge and he explodes himself. I didn't expect him to die, especially after he had so many fake outs already. So it's like no one is safe in that series, which is awesome. I would like it if Cecil lives, but he's probably going to die. Zig Montes Bajoras asks, what superpower would you like to have? So it's probably cliche, but I always just wanted to have like superhuman physicality. You know, like run fast, super strength, super durable, agile, kind of like the Hulk, but not being the Hulk. Menon7010 asks, what is one chapter across all mangas you have read you'd say outclasses every other? And if you were to rank them, what would be the top 10? Again, I'm sorry, I'm not good with these best questions. My brain's all over the place right now. I've been talking for over an hour at this point, but I do want to make a video on what manga chapters I consider to be 10 out of 10s. And then I also want to make another video about the chapters I've reviewed on the channel that I consider 10 out of 10s. But off the top of my head, the final chapter of Meruem's life with Komugi in Hunter x Hunter, man, that's a really powerful, impactful chapter. I'm not saying that that is the best, but I'm kind of just putting it out there, showing that that's like an example of what I consider to be like a monumental type of chapter. JTD asks, what are some manga that you have in mind that you want to start making content on? Also, I'd love to see you make content on Demon Slayer since the anime is going to end soon. I would love for you to react to that and make content on that. Just realized you already made videos on those and I'm going to watch them all right now. Hey, thank you, JTD. I want to start making content on Versus, which is One's other battle manga. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to start making content on Sakamoto Days, Kagurabachi, Invincible. And as for Demon Slayer, I'll probably get more into making the content once the movies come out. I think it's like in the summer, right? Colton Baysinger asks, when did One Piece jump the shark? Man, there's maybe a lot of points when it did, but I know it's over 1,000 chapters into it, but maybe Gear 5? Maybe that was finally the moment it jumped the shark. If it hadn't already jumped it pre-time skip. Yati-Boo3892 asks, how would Sukuna and Gojo fare in the One Punch Man universe? You know, they would fare fine, I guess. I mean, they wouldn't be the top dogs the way that they are in Jujutsu Kaisen, but they would definitely be S-class, but they would run into some problems with the guys at the top, for sure. OBS10 asks, what is an anime/manga that is generally disliked that you enjoy a lot, and vice versa? So, it was definitely My Hero for a while, right? I would randomly get a lot of, like, hate, negative comments. Not about me, surprisingly, but just about how My Hero sucks, and it's like Mickey Mouse. And then a series that is liked a lot, but I dislike. I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of the Isekai series. Burkett Nathan 822 asks, what manga series do you wish had a continuation? Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia. Not just for the content, but because I feel like those series had so much life left in them. You know, My Hero maybe not so much, but Jujutsu Kaisen definitely. Come on. Kaladov asks, which Invincible variant was your favorite? The Spider-Man one was cool because he wasn't like fully despicable, and the Omni-Man Invincible one seemed more calculated than the others. You know, he had more of a robust kind of personality. Ovidiusemian, I think that's how you say it. Sorry if I said it wrong. 6450 asks, would you consider reviewing chapters of Record of Ragnarok again? Yes, I do want to do that. I just have a few other things on the agenda at first, but I do want to get back into Record of Ragnarok. I know that it's maybe coming towards its end. I mean, I think it has a couple years left in it, right? But that is something I have planned. Ya boy Funk 718 asks, would you rather have a sequel or prequel series for JJK? I'd rather have a sequel if I had to choose, but a prequel wouldn't be too bad if they fully explored the Heian era. Michael Martinez J1K asks, what is your favorite anime of all time? Mine's is One Piece and always will be. And what anime trajectory do you think One Piece will go on? As in how many arcs left and what will they be? Yes, Dragon Ball is trash. Favorite anime of all time? Maybe Yu Yu Hakusho? We're talking about just anime. One Piece has Elbaf, and then I guess it's going to go into the final war, and then whatever little arcs are within that. Royal Reptile 923 asks, do you think Saitama will ever get a worthy opponent? Yes, it will probably be God. Winston Pertle 5051 asks, are Loki's unrevealed, possibly missing eyes a play on Rune King Thor's power set and sacrifice to attain those powers? So I'm looking at an AI overview right now, and it says that Rune King Thor, a powerful, nigh omnipotent version of Thor, possesses a vast and almost limitless power set, including but not limited to reality manipulation, precognition, omniscient knowledge, immortality, and control over time, space, fate. Bro, Loki can't do all that stuff, and if he could, it would just be too busted. I'm not sure what Loki's missing eyes mean, because he had the raps as a kid too, so I don't think it has to do with his devil fruit, because it's implied he only ate the devil fruit 6 years ago or something, right? So your guess is as good as mine. YouTube Watcher 61 asks, what's your favorite movies? I love Pulp Fiction, Avengers Infinity War, The Departed. You know, I'm just a guy's guy. XX Parias, just random stuff. I see you have figures and Pokemon cards in your setup, so what's your favorite figure and or Pokemon card in your collection? My favorite Pokemon card is probably Shining Charizard. SR Lag 11 asks, do you think My Mask will get his due in the manga? Manga really underplayed his power compared to the webcomic. Did my boy dirty? Yeah, for sure. I do think that he will get his due. I think we're already kind of seeing it in the webcomic, to be honest. He's having more of like, becoming more understanding than anything. And I think that in the end, he will be remembered as like a real hero and not like a monster. Like he'll have, I think My Mask is going to have a good end. G Satori asks, what was your favorite video to make for One Piece and least favorite? My favorite video to make, maybe when Gear 5 was revealed 3 years ago, just because it was just so exciting and everybody was just in on the community and it was just good energy all around. Like that week of that reveal, it was just fun. Everything was nice. Dead Kev 19 asks, outside of manga, do you have like top 5 Marvel and or DC comic stories? I don't know if I have a top 5, but I do have a number 1, and that's definitely Secret Wars. Or at least Jonathan Hickman's, which I have right here. Absolutely love this thing. Obito Verse 3824 asks, do you think the new Boros will have memories of his fight against Saitama, or will he just be a new conscious in Boros' body? So I hope that he has his memories and his personality, but it seems like he might not, and he's just going to become like a robot for the organization or something. It would just be too good if he comes back as like the Boros that we know, and then maybe he's not even like a despicable villain anymore or something like that, but I guess we just have to stay optimistic. Fire Punch HD asks, do you currently enjoy One Piece? Because in some of your spoiler videos, it seems like you're clowning it a little. I do enjoy One Piece. I really do. It's just that I'm not going to shy away from criticism that I have for it, especially because I've just been doing this for so long. I'm just gonna call it the way that I see it. Gary Phillips 1014 asks, what was your favorite part of Egghead from One Piece? Definitely when the Gorosei showed up, we got to see their forms, and then ultimately when Saturn gets killed by Emu and then Garling takes over. Like that was so exciting. Blue Shinobi 1085 asks, are those Yu-Gi-Oh cards there? Do you still play? What deck is your favorite? What deck drives you crazy? So yes, they are Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't currently play, but I do know how to play, but I don't know what's going on with like the current format or anything. I much prefer playing like GOAT format or Edison format. Captain Happy 7813 asks, if you were controlled by someone to do something you don't like on social media, what sign would you give us? I guess I would, I don't know, have like a weird mustache or something. Crazier X 3515 asks, what drawn you to One Punch Man so much? It was kind of original, at least for me when I first read it, because I had like this preconceived notion of the series that it was just, oh, he beats everybody with one punch. That's kind of boring. But then once I actually read it, I was like, oh, it's so much more than that. It's about like the world that he lives in and how he deals with having this amount of power. It was just so fascinating to me. And very different than the other types of animes and mangas that I was consuming at that point. Terry B01S, do you think My Hero and One Punch Man can coexist in the same world? No, they can't. It's like mainly just the aspect of people becoming monsters is what conflicts with My Hero the most. Double D 6501 asks, by the end of One Punch Man, what tier of power do you think Saitama would be using? The Versus Battle Wiki. Whatever universe ending level is. I assume it's going to get to that point. Nick Unown asks, Conquest versus All Might, who wins and what diff? I've only really seen Conquest versus Invincible at the end of season 3, and he seemed comparable in power to All Might from season 1, 2, and 3 of My Hero Academia, right? I mean, All Might can't like fly and go out in space and stuff, but you know, punching power and strength, they seem somewhat comparable. I mean, I didn't see Conquest do anything like the United States of Smash, so I could be wrong, but I'm sure they can have a fun fight, maybe. Super Harold 93 asks, what is your favorite anime or manga? Favorite anime, I think I said before Yu Yu Hakusho, but maybe Death Note is. And my favorite manga, probably One Punch Man. Nate Dog 1007 asks, yes, I made it to a few thumbnails back when you did these. My boy Nate Dog, I remember you, man. Can you rank the endings of your favorite anime? Have any endings you love or hate? The ending of Trigun, the anime, was fantastic. Now that I think about it, I really have a lot of problems with anime endings. It just seems hard to end anime series, but man, Trigun, really good ending. Christmas Krima asks, do you think Die Hard is an anime? The movie Die Hard isn't an anime? I mean, objectively it's not, but like, is it structured and essentially an anime the way that like pro wrestling is? I guess it could be. You could definitely make a movie out of it, like an anime movie. I'll have to look more into it. I never really thought about it. OG Ghosty asks, if you were to come up with a Nenhatsu, what would you choose depending on what category you think you belong to? Personally, I would like to be transmutation, and my Hatsu would be water pistol by transmutating my Nen into water and conjuring a water pistol. The bullets would be high pressure with enhancement. So I would like to have a specialty, of course, because, you know, why not? And this might sound boring, but I would like to have like a specialty that just nullifies Nen ability, and then you kind of just have to fight bare bones. I know that defeats the whole purpose of the system, but I just think that would be interesting. Does somebody do that already? I don't remember. Torque Smacky asks, when is Big Z gonna settle down and introduce the little Z's? Eventually. Maybe in like the next 5 to 10 years, somewhere in that time span. There's just a few things I need to do first. A lot of selfish living I need to take care of before I start focusing on other people. Because, you know, I want to take that very seriously. Crossfaded Gamer asks, I think the world serpent is the red line. What do you think? I genuinely don't know. I always thought the red line was just continents, or maybe one big continent, or it's even possible that it was like what we see of the crests of like the circle and then the little circles around it. Like what originally was like the ancient kingdom or the allied nations back in the day, and the Lunarians lived on top of it, and then Mu one way or another broke it apart and then made the red line or something. But if it's not that, and it is like actually a serpent, that's crazy. It's like the size of the world. Because I know the mural depicts it to be kind of like the red line or something, but I still don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that thing was actually a real creature that existed once. There's still so many questions. Ricky Hunt 4075 asks, do you think a major character will die in One Punch Man? While I adore the series, I feel like the lack of character deaths hurt the series, and it could give the series more drama and weight, obviously excluding the time travel shenanigans. Yeah, there could be more deaths, I agree. I think Blast is gonna die. The Greek Weeb asks, have you heard of Galaxius or Gachia Kuda? I have heard of Gachia Kuda. I know it has some hype behind it, and I think the anime is coming out in July. I would like to make content on it. We'll see where I am at that point. Arthur Campomanes 2219 asks, Buenos noches from Mexico with love. Hey, Big fan of Mexico. I missed them OG no face reveal Q&A videos when One Punch Man was the only series you covered. I'm glad you got so much support and sponsorships. You really earned it. Hey, thank you, Arthur. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you being an OG for this long. It's been a long time. Recently, there's a lot of tournament manga series. Kengan Ashura, Tenkaichi, Record of Ragnarok, and so. How do you feel about them series? I recall you once tried covering Record of Ragnarok and you came back. You dislike those? No, I don't dislike them. Sometimes I just try to get into covering a series, but then, my attention or my content expectations goes in another way. I do like Record of Ragnarok, I do. I do want to get back into covering it as well. And then Kengan Ashura and Tenkaichi, I haven't really followed them, but from what I've seen, seems pretty good. Justin Jingle 45-1 asks, what do you think Loki and Hyruden's mom looks like? Keep it civilized, Zhoniin. They gotta be somewhat attractive, right? I don't think Harold's gonna go after some women that he doesn't consider to be attractive, and I don't think Oda's gonna do that to him. I mean, Loki, handsome guy, right? Somewhat. So I'm sure his mom is handsome as well. Same for Hyruden. Captain Jack Sparrow 1138 asks, what's your take in JJK? After the climatic battle backlash, I don't know, Gege folded under pressure, or it's just me that Nobara was a butt pull. My take on that would not be a lobotomy Kaisen, but rather Gojo makes a vow about limitless to expansion until infinity because his curse technique already works. Yeah, I think Gege, I don't want to say folded under pressure. I just think he got burnt out and he just kind of was done with it. I mean, I feel like the same kind of went for Horikoshi because the last 50 chapters of JJK just seems like a mess. Cliff Stranding asks, how would you rate a breakfast burrito? Chorizo, hash browns, eggs, pico from 1 to 10. I give that like an 8. I like chorizo. In my breakfast burrito, pretty good. It really comes down to the salsa too. Frank Ratty 6872 asks, what would you want from JJK spin-off series? Sequel or prequel? I want a sequel. There's so much potential for Jujutsu Kaisen in a sequel. You could explore the other countries and just start making up people having curse techniques in America or South America. There's so much potential that was just left on the table. Jason Lee 5840 asks, what do you think about the Naruto movies? I'm gonna be honest, Jason, never seen a Naruto movie. And it's not because I don't like it, it's just for some reason I never got around to watching. But I would. Like if somebody was hanging out, one night, like, hey, you wanna watch Naruto movie? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Over Delord Zoro asks, what does Straw Hat rank will be in One Punch Man? What do you think Luffy is stronger than Tatsumaki? No. Luffy is not stronger than Tatsumaki in my opinion, even in Gear 5. The rankings, some of them would be S-Class for sure, like Zoro, probably be S-Class. Luffy in Gear 5, definitely S-Class. Hamza 24/7 asks, what do you think is the destiny of each of the worst generation, not named Luffy and Zoro? I think they will all be in the final battle of Laugh Tale. Even Hawkins, who is implied to be dead right now, I think he's going to come back as well. A Handy Skittle asks, referring to when you said about Emu not being able to be in the sunlight, why wouldn't Emu try to get the dark fruit or somehow use Blackbeard to him/her to their advantage? I think it ultimately comes down to incompetence. The same reason why Emu doesn't have the gum/Nika fruit, because you think, man, they would just keep that like they keep the Straw Hat, but they don't. Blanklin asks, do you think analytics influence you at all? And will you ever do more IRL content besides convention vlogs? I wish analytics influenced me, but they unfortunately don't at the moment because I don't really check them that much. I've kind of just been doing a lot of things outside of YouTube these last 2 years. Maybe I should check analytics more and let that dictate my content if anything, but I would like to do more IRL content. I'm not sure what it would be. Rudolph O'Medini 9931 asks, are you single? No, I am not single. Gerp 0533 asks, do you have a manga collection, and if so, can we see? Just over here I have all of the One Punch Man volumes in Japanese. Those were actually a gift from my good friend Nitro. Then these are like the data books from My Hero, One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, and Jujutsu Kaisen. All in Japanese because when I was in Japan, I picked them up because they're just so cheap and available. But maybe in a couple years, I'll have like a full-blown like bookshelf collection. Khalil Thomas 8872 asks, have you ever considered watching Kamen Rider? Not really. The tokusatsus don't really interest me that much. I mean, I am not saying they're bad or anything. They're just not for me. But I do like how people are really interested in them, and sometimes I see like TikToks or reels of like people using like the gadget stuff that they have, and like I like that they're having fun with it. Hikaru D King asks, is the current anime era good? Yes, I would say it's good. It's probably the strongest that it's ever been. Maybe not quality-wise, but popularity-wise, it's never been bigger. Neko X1CE asks, what if all the S-Class heroes attacked the tomb of Nazarick from Overlord? I've never watched Overlord, but man, Nazarick has got to be pretty powerful if he's going to hold off all of the S-Class heroes, including Blast and Tatsumaki. Double Hit 9165 asks, how does the lore about the One Piece special swords change in the light of the new information we received? These information ranging from Kuma spirit remaining inside an artificial object, race, property of sort, to the indestructible poneglyphs, to weapons and materials eating devil fruits. You mean change the lore as it can retrospectively explain why things are so powerful? I like it. I don't know if that has something to do with why blades become black or why certain swords become supreme grade, but the whole spirit of Kuma thing remaining could explain some swords. Possibly. Riderman64 asks, could the One Punch Man universe Earth survive a Viltrumite invasion? Could the S-Class survive a Viltrumite invasion? I don't know. I mean, Saitama could for sure, but just the S-Class, no Saitama. I really don't know because there's, what, 50 Viltrumites left? I know Blast could do well. Tatsumaki could probably hold her own, but the rest of them? I don't know, because these guys can, like, fly and go into space and stuff. And, like, if you just grab one of the S-Class heroes and take them to space, it's over. Aside from Blast. Satanic Turkey asks, how many God cards you got? I have all of the God cards. They're actually not really that hard to get. They're not expensive either. I don't have any of them graded, but I do have like the physical copy. The Mr. S First asks, yo Z, I want to know what your opinion on the next Straw Hat to use hockey will be. Well, Usopp technically, because he already has observation hockey, even though he's never used it again, but I would like it to be Robin next. Oblivion K6S asks, what character goals are relatable in Full Metal Alchemist, and who is more self-centered? I'm sorry, Oblivion. I haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist since I was a kid, and I haven't seen Brotherhood yet. I know it's amazing. It is on the list. I eventually will get around to it. Anime Culture 11 asks, which One Piece characters would you want for them to have a spin-off series / manga once the story comes to an end, like the Ace spin-off mangas? I think it would be cool if like Aki Inu or the Admirals had a spin-off of their like comeuppance. One Animu asks, as a comic book fan, what are your thoughts on the Western comic book DC Marvel community, as they are not people who consume manga or anime media? Have you interacted with the community? I think I've talked to maybe some of them at certain conventions I've been to here and there, but I haven't really interacted with them too much. I don't know how they feel about anime and manga, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like scoff at it, because I am aware that like there's definitely some Marvel stories that just are so vastly superior to anime stories. Full Circle asks, would you or will you ever cover Fire Force, anime or manga? In a perfect world, both. I don't know. Never say never, but I'm just not sure at the moment. YTMND Man asks, do you think the USJ Nomu could survive a normal punch from Saitama? Not keep standing or anything, just not die. Probably at least one, right? I mean, he was taking punches from All Might, so maybe? TBK Drip asks, can you do like a series that you do or make up what if stories for mangas or animes like One Punch Man, My Hero, Demon Slayer, Solo Leveling, etc.? Yeah, I would like to do that actually. I have a plan to do a Jujutsu Kaisen video, what if? Like, what if the merger went through and what would happen after that? I'm gonna make it eventually, I don't know when, but I do have a plan for that. Daniel WS8UG asks, in One Punch Man, which Orochi fight do you like better, the original or the redraw? Also, in general, is there any redraw where you preferred the original or any moments you wish were not retcon? So I guess the original had its own charm to it. I don't really know what I preferred, to be honest. I liked how Orochi looked in the original version. I think he looked much better than his Lovecraftian version in the redraws. But I also would have liked it if the Phoenix Man against Child Emperor fight stayed the way that it was, but I understand why they changed it. He was probably just a little too strong, and just the way that he was defeated was, I don't know, a little nonsensical, I guess. Josh0639 asks, do you think Saitama will lose their abilities by the end of the series? If so, then why? Also, why did you change your mind? I remember saying that you didn't think that that was going to happen, but then you changed your mind. Just wondering. I'm just unsure at the moment because my mind just changes so much, you know, over the years covering these series. I did have a theory based off of Egyptian mythology that he will likely get poisoned or something, and then he might lose his abilities temporarily, but I don't think he'll permanently lose them. I think they will come back if he does lose them at all. Christian Martinez 54-7 asks, do you watch Pokemon? No, but if something big happens, I'll definitely look at the clip of it for sure. Like when Ash won the world championship or whatever, I definitely watched a good 15 minutes of that. Revenant Main 1 asks, do you think the reception of One Punch Man Season 3 will affect the wait for Season 4? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to delay it, because I feel like if they really wanted to get Season 3 out quicker, they could have did it, but there's just so much like politicking and money and decisions in the background that we're just unaware of to what ultimately winds up happening with the decisions that they make on these series. I would like to say that they care about public reception, but it just doesn't seem like they do. P. Herman asks, do you think Oda will give someone the fart fruit? I think the series has long passed the time of us seeing actual characters with fruits like that, but there's a very good chance we might see that in an SBS in the future. Toxic Punko 1 asks, why do you think JJK fell flat with its ending? Or why do you think Gege took this route when there's better ways? I think he was just burnt out with the series and he just wanted to be done with it. And that's just what it comes down to, in my opinion. But Morsa 26 asks, will Shiki the Golden Lion return? I don't think Oda wants him to return. At least that's what I gathered from what he said in interviews or SBSs or something. You can find his comments on Shiki, but it just doesn't seem like he's coming back, even though technically he could. Wiley Moore 3914 asks, is Empty Void multiversal? And what does that make Saitama if he could defeat him? When you say multiversal, do you mean like the power to destroy multiverses? I really don't know how far Empty Void's powers can go with him jumping outside of the reality and like hitting the worlds from his fifth dimensional perspective. Like, I don't know if he could just crush the universe like that, because, you know, why wouldn't he just do that if he could? But it might ultimately not matter, because one might just completely remove that ability from the canon altogether. But as for Saitama, I mean, he's Saitama, you know, he's beyond all of that stuff. His power is he can just do whatever he wants. Noro Bikaku asks, a room tour. So I'm going to be moving in a couple months, so I'd like to do an office tour before that. I'll probably put it up on this, maybe this channel, I don't know, we'll see, but I do have plans. Aki7474 asks, what's your favorite figure, man, and can we see the collection? Love the vids, my goat, keep it up. Hey, thank you, Aki. So favorite figure is this one right here. It is Super Saiyan 3 Rose Masked Saiyan from Dragon Ball Heroes. So aesthetic, love this thing. But as for the collection, maybe I'll show it in a video on my second channel, Zodi Might, one day. Billy Sloan 443 asks, so when are you getting on Solo Leveling Train? I think that ship has probably sailed for now, or maybe I'll just wait to see where I am content-wise once Season 3 comes out. Ali Hassan EH8JE asks, can you show us around your home and what kind of figures or manga you got? Are they cards in the background, and if so, what they are? Thank you. So yes, I am going to make a room tour in a couple weeks. Look out for that. Annie-Boy7 asks, what do you think about the new Gachia Kuda anime coming up soon? It looks interesting. I remember seeing some hype about it when the manga first came out. So come July, I hope to make some content on it. Eli Cash E951 asks, Saitama, do you think he's intelligent or wise or has a Buddha nature? I think he has intelligence and wisdom for sure, but he's not like a genius or anything. Laxus Renji asks, do you play any Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, or do you only collect the cards? I do play Yu-Gi-Oh. I prefer to play GOAT format and Edison format. I could probably play modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! If I tried, I guess. Pokemon, I haven't played since I was a kid. I mainly just like collecting the graded cards. BLSAB 5768 asks, what's your favorite movie? Probably Pulp Fiction. Richie QB16Q asks, what do you think of Corey X Kenshin's anime? So I'm just seeing it now. It looks pretty impressive. It looks way better than I thought it was. Not saying anything bad, it just, I didn't know it was going to have a budget like this. Pretty impressive. Ernest Henley, T50 asks, do you think Toriko will come back and why did the anime end? I don't really know much about why Toriko ended. I don't really know much about it in general. Did the creator like do something bad, I think? Or am I misremembering him with somebody else? Archangel Hayes 5717 asks, are you anime Potter? Oh, I mean Harry. Are you asking if I like Harry Potter? I don't hate it or anything. I just never really got into it. I mean, I know what happens in the story and everything, but yeah, I'm not really that big of a fan. Iswaji Thimbram 3704, sorry if I said your name wrong. How come Kizaru thinks mythical Zoan is rarer than the Logia devil fruit? I guess because it is. Even though I think we've seen more mythical Zoans than Logias at this point. Maybe that's how Oda felt at the time, because he just wanted to allocate the mythical Zoans for all the top tiers at the end of the series. David Robles 9083 asks, hey Z, do you think the One Punch Man ninja arc is getting retconned in a month or two? I hope not. I'm not counting on it. So yeah. But it very well could be. Ajoya Char Joe 6492. Please do One Punch Man theory content, like the truth about the One Punch Man series. I loved your videos, especially One Punch Man as a One Punch Man lover, and I'm so glad the Q&A is back. I was missing it so bad, to be honest. Hey, thank you, Ajoy. I appreciate it. I don't know if I could do any more of the Egyptian mythology videos because I pretty much covered it. But as for theories, I would love to get back into One Punch Man theories. I just need to go over the series again because I feel like I'm already a couple years ahead as it is with my old theories. So I'll see if I can start crafting some new ones. Jamie Hibero, or at least I think it's Hibero. Maybe it's Ribeiro. 7096. Yo, Zhoniin, are you going bald? No, for real. What is your top 3 favorite movies? What's your favorite Mac or BK? Stay safe, bro. So yes, I am going bald. I've been going bald since I was 19. Genetics are a cruel mistress. Top 3 favorite movies are like Pulp Fiction, Avengers Infinity War, and The Departed. Talk about McDonald's or Burger King? I definitely prefer McDonald's if I had to choose. Surabasurabi 7982. What will happen after Saitama defeats God? Will Saitama end up with Fubuki? What do you think about it? I hope so. I hope Saitama ends up with Fubuki because he deserves it, and I would just prefer it if these series actually have conclusions to, you know, loosely tied love interests the way that One Punch Man does. You know what I mean? Jalen Brown 3603 asks, if you could fix anything about My Hero or Jujutsu Kaisen ended, what would you fix? What I would fix is not so much me rewriting it, but I would like to go back and stop before the final sagas start, and then let the creators Horikoshi and Gege like just take a year off. Let them, you know, recharge their minds, do whatever they need to do, then come back and then make it either bi-weekly or monthly. And I think we would get such a better product. Ahmad Furasuzafazan, sorry, I said your name wrong. Zhoniin, what is your most anticipated fight in One Punch Man Season 3? Orochi versus Garo, for sure. It's probably not going to be great because it's going to be hard to adapt that, but I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Avon Bennings 4449. How have you been, brother? Any life updates? Any new projects you have going on? Hey, thanks for asking, Avon. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I've been good. These last 2 years, I've just been living life unlike I have been for the last 15. I've been exploring other side projects professionally in life outside of YouTube, but now I just want to come back into YouTube and try to bring the most out of the channel and the community. Something that I've probably been neglecting. Sato 510, do you wipe sitting down or standing up? Definitely sitting down. Some random hobo zero asks, will you be covering Fire Force Season 3? Drops on April 4th and it's a great series with great characters. No, sorry, I won't be covering it. I'm actually going to be covering My Hero Vigilantes at that time. Manas 4656 asks, what do you think about Blackbeard's split personality theory? Just like the Moon Knight may be why he was able to hurt Shanks. I think it's very plausible. We might wind up actually seeing that he has some kind of multiple souls or multiple personalities going on. Killa Bee Storm 9361 asks, what rank do you think Sakamoto would be in solo leveling? I'm not really familiar with solo leveling, but Sakamoto would probably be an S-class hero in One Punch Man, to be honest. Jackson Taylor asks, why do you think One and Murata are so obsessed with adding more to the Ninja Village arc? In the webcomic, it was like a chapter or two, and that man was beaten off screen. It didn't seem important at all. And expanding Sonic and Flash's backstory, what do you think they expanded so much? How long do you think it will be until we get the Neo Heroes arc and catch up to the webcomic continuity? It's going to be a couple of years for that, for sure. But I think they wanted to just add more depth to Empty Void because, you know, they're trying to make the manga more epic and more, you know, typical battle shonen than the tongue-in-cheek version of the webcomic, kind of. But now it seems like they're going back to what the webcomic story was originally. So doing that. Blaze Hokage 3609 asks, what is your workout split? Back and biceps, and then shoulder, chest, and triceps. Alternate that every other day. I don't really work my legs out anymore because they're just a genetic strong point for me. And I ride my bike a lot on Gear 7, so you know, I don't have to do legs anymore. They're done. KC3000, I show speed clips. Please bring back the old music, bro. I would if I could. I just don't have it anymore. Unless you're talking about that beat that I used to have in 2022. I could bring that back, but I kind of just heard it to death. Mark Yates 9712 asks, how old are you? I'm a millennial. Quick Fix Stat asks, how did you learn about copyright information for YouTube, as I don't see you getting strikes like some others? Any tips on learning about this topic? So I do get strikes. I think every single year I've had at least one strike. It's really simple. You can read how US copyright law works for yourself by just Googling it. It's only a couple pages long. I just studied it and tried to adapt my content to those guidelines as best as I can, pretty much. Des Velato 13 asks, hi Zhoniin, I'm an OG viewer. Just want to know if your health is good after all this time. I know editing is super time consuming. Hey, thanks for asking, Des Velato. My health is great. It's surprisingly great. Whenever I get my blood tests, they're always really good. Mentally, maybe that could use some improvement. Lucifer V5V asks, handsome. Oh, thank you, Lucifer. I appreciate it. Kemi asks, okay, Big Z, what would your options on YouTube to know and talk One Punch Man besides you? Kemi, I know you, Kemi, but to be honest, I don't know what to make of this question. I don't know what you're asking me. I'm sorry. Are you asking, like, what would my options to be as a YouTuber if I wasn't talking about One Punch Man? I'd probably just talk about pop culture and just random stuff I was interested in. Kind of like how Penguin Zero. Like, in a perfect world, I would like to have a channel like Penguin Zero. Ibrahim Mod Ed? Sorry, I said your name wrong. What's your name? Zhoniin. 25th Supreme asks, do you plan on reading Tower of God? I highly recommend it, and it is considered by many to be the One Piece of manhwa. Wow. I'm sure it's great. I don't have any plans on reading it. I'm sorry. One Node. AZ, been watching since 2020, and I've always wanted to ask you this question because I've never had the money to join your Patreon in the past, but who do you think would win in a 1v1 battle, Watchdog Man or Neon? Definitely Watchdog Man. Even though he doesn't really have the feats that Neon does, it just feels like Watchdog Man is implied to be much stronger than Neon. Neon's already pretty strong at Dragon level, but yeah, I think Watchdog Man is stronger. Trini Man 3608 asks, I always watch every single episode of your videos. I buy big tire bikes, nice meals, and all kind of stuff to support you, bro. Wow, Trini Man, thank you so much. That's amazing. Question I have and really want to know your honest truth. Who is stronger, 1v1, the GOAT Goldie Roger versus Figureland Garland, Akainu, Shamrock, Garp, Gorsei, Admiral? Oh, 1v1, so he's not fighting all of them together. Roger is probably stronger than all of them individually. I mean, not just because he had the title of Pirate King, but just based off of what we've seen and what he was able to accomplish. I'm assuming he's the strongest, right? I mean, he's probably not as strong as Emu, maybe not as strong as Joy Boy, but all-time rankings in the verse, he might be number 3. Synchronized 6670 asked, what do you think of the person in charge for One Punch Man promotion? Like the PV he approved to launch. I guess he just doesn't care, or he had a quota to fill or something. I don't know who he is personally or who she is, but I don't know. Who really knows how stuff behind the scenes work at those anime studios? It's probably not as smooth as you think it would be. Sky Prison asks, how do you make your videos? I use Premiere and OBS. Josh D, do you like sandwiches? If so, what's your favorite? I love sandwiches. Probably my favorite type of food. I like a nice steak sandwich, like a chopped steak sandwich. Not necessarily a cheesesteak, but something akin to that, you know, like chopped up sirloin or something with some lettuce, tomato, pickles, mayo on some nice bread, either like a long roll like a hero or a bolillo, or even like a sourdough, a panini or whatever. It's pretty solid. Dabs for Days asks, hey Z, Mihawk or Shanks 1v1? Shanks for sure, come on. Brennan Dunlap asks, I've been wondering if you are open to covering a series I've been writing. I'm pretty confident in the quality, and that if it fits your audience, I think it would be good to fill in break weeks. So Brennan, I'm sure your series is great, genuinely, but I'm only really interested in following like mainstream battle manga series at this point. I don't really have the reach to cover independent series at the moment. Maybe one day I will, but just right now I just want to stick to like, you know, like a established studio series. It's nothing against you, I promise. It's just, you know, I can only do so much with my channel. AJ Jackson 100 asks, do you think we'll see Rouge in upper yard of Elbaf due to him being on a sky island and the fact that there's a way to the sky island supposedly in Elbaf? Or what kind of race would live in the upper parts of Elbaf? We get some Aesir godlike race stand in the race for gods atop the tree. So I don't know if Rouge is going to be in Elbaf, but he's definitely coming back at some point. I was actually talking to Sai about this, like what exists in the heaven realm of Elbaf, and to be honest, I don't really know. They, oddly enough, haven't really been touching on it that much, but there has to be something special up there, right? I mean, if King Harold lives in like the middle part, then what's going on in the top? Nil Zero asks, would you be willing to revisit the cadre rankings? I'm interested how Goketsu might do against the others. He was taken from us too soon. Yes, I would like to revisit that stuff. I just need to reread all of One Punch Man again, which I haven't done in a while, because, you know, everything has changed since I made all of that content a few years ago. So, yeah, I expect that stuff eventually. Juan Vasquez 326 asks, will you ever get back to talk about Record of Ragnarok? Yes, eventually I will. I'm pretty sure it has at least like 3 to 5 years left, so that should be enough time. Pat Galley 8855 asks, let's go, Pat. Kevin Juarez asks, from what I got is she left because of his big Z. I'm actually going to be getting asked this question a few times. I think this is like a meme or something that I'm not aware of, but no one left, at least in my life, as far as I'm aware of. Ad Straw Hat asks, does Dragon die in the final war? We have so many factions and people who play a part in the final war. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dragon dies, like if he just finally does something and then dies afterwards, like why not? Brim1 asks, have you seen Solo Leveling? It's a power fantasy similar to One Punch Man that I'm sure you would enjoy. I actually haven't yet, but I guess I'll go through the whole series this week so I can make content on the finale. Lon Lender asks, how many Hofsco bikes do you have? You seem to get a new one every One Piece review. I've been in partnership with Hofsco for a few years now, so I have a bunch of stuff that they've sent me. They just really like me for some reason, and they're a great company, so yeah. Yili Mazu asks, hey Zhoniin, would you rather have unlimited bacon and no more video games or games? Unlimited games and no games. Are you saying would I rather have unlimited bacon and no video games, or no bacon and unlimited games? I'd probably take the unlimited games because I don't really eat bacon too much. I mean, I do sometimes, but not like every day. And also I could just sell the games. I could sell the bacon too, but the games would probably be more valuable, I guess. And the bacon would go bad. Mori Manito Ken, sorry I'm saying that wrong. Why anime and manga? It kind of just happened that way. When I originally got inspired to finally make a YouTube channel, it was Dragon Ball Super that interested me the most. So it kind of just went from there. Ticklish Pickle asks, all right, I have a question. It's not an easy one though, but you said any question within reason, and I think mine is reasonable. So my question is as follows. You follow a lot of anime and manga? A lot. It's your YouTube channel, so that's to be expected. And what is the one anime or manga either currently going on or in the past that you felt the creator themselves, be it man or woman, had some mental problems, albeit ages in their anime and manga, political ideologies, or just moral alignments? If you have multiple, that is fine as well. In a broader way, I'm asking, I'll rewind it to, have you ever liked something that seemed to go against social norms or the creator had a dark, unacceptable content? Nothing that like concerned me, but the guy who made Berserk, Miura, he's definitely has some demons. Horikoshi, I think, has some demons or something happened troubling in his past. And I think Togashi, the guy who made Hunter x Hunter, probably has some kind of personality disorder or something. Jay Bustos asks, hi, are you cool? Just saw, I think you're saying saw, this video. And the channel looks good. I'll be watching some of your vids. Hey, thanks, Jace. I appreciate it. I am cool. I mean, I've been told I'm cool, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who think I'm not. The Big Amen asks, why do they call God God when he isn't the creator of the One Punch Man universe, or is he? It was my assumption he took that name to sound powerful. Yes, that's pretty much it. He calls himself God and expects others to refer to him as that. He's not like the creator. He's just like a powerful, ancient, evil, cosmic entity that wants to be perceived as God. Green Skies asks, what happened to the guy? Is this like another meme that I'm unaware of? I don't know. Or is it something I did? I don't know. Nick Lira asks, did you do it? Yes. Revenant Main asks, why did she leave, Big Z? Yeah, this has to be a meme or something. I don't know. She didn't leave. Adrian Levareca asks, have you watched Dexter, the TV show, and what are your thoughts on it? I actually have watched Dexter. I really liked it up until about the 4th season ended. And then after that, it's not really that great anymore. Probably should have just ended at the 4th season, to be honest. Okay, but 3572 asks, will you ever read/review Tenkaichi, the Greatest Warrior, Under the Rising Sun? It is a really good fighting manga. Probably not, but I'm sure it's good. Legendary Zakaria asks, why don't you talk about trendy stuff like solo leveling? That's a great question. I guess I was kind of just stuck in my own lane of doing what I've been doing, but I should get into trendy stuff, right? Maybe I'll start doing that. Richie QB asks, would you be open to come to Ghana for a vacation? You got tons of fans here. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm gonna have to take malaria shots and all that stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm willing to travel anywhere. LaShawn Nakeni Brew asks, okay, my brother here, the biggest question that you and everyone never knew about this one character, and she's from the anime known as Creators. Her name is Altair. She literally solos every anime / manga, isekai, manga, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, video game characters, and creators themselves, including manhwa, webtoons, comic, web novels, light novels, all of the anime, isekai, manga fiction, and much more. Why have you never heard about that character or done a video on her and her powers, abilities, skills, and hacks? This is the first time hearing about it. I mean, if she was that powerful, I assumed I would have heard about her already. Amigos 1019 asks, can Baru from Solo Leveling beat Monster Garo from One Punch Man? I don't really know much about solo leveling, but I am going to get into it this week. Garen Obex asks, is autism real? Judging from the scientific literature that exists, it seems like it is. ODD Mamba asks, is Eustace Kid dead? Want to collab on my first One Piece chapter review on my new channel. So, there's no way that Kid is dead. He just got knocked out by Shanks. He'll be back for sure. And as for collabing on your channel, my advice is, if you're starting a new channel, don't try to like reach out to other people and try to get big collabs or whatever. Just like build up your own thing, build up your own presence. The collabs will eventually come, but you need to get your own core audience that wants to watch the videos because of you and not who you have on your channel. Soren7 asks, I love your videos. I've been watching your channel since 2019. I hope you check out Lord of the Mysteries anime coming out this year and also the web novel. It's peak. Hey, thank you, Soren, for following me this long. I appreciate it. And if Lord of the Mysteries gets some hype behind it, I will definitely check it out. Josiah Blackstock asks, note, I'm not trying to force religion on anyone, but if you're willing to, Jesus wants you to believe in him. Repent of your sins. Jesus loves you. He is coming soon. Develop a relationship with him. No, I'm good, but I respect what you're doing. K-Dash asks first. Were you first? I don't know, but if you were, good job. Insane7718 asks, are you the guy that makes One Punch Man videos? Yes, I am. Or I was. I mean, I still do, but not as much. Jalen Brown 3603 asks, why is Hunter x Hunter so overrated? I wouldn't say that it's overrated. I think it's rated right where it should be. A lot of the hype comes from, you know, casuals who kind of just watch the anime. I guarantee they did not read the manga, because if they did, it wouldn't be as hyped as it is. The Darkest Night asks, do you like chicken? Love it. So that's it for this Q&A. Oh my god, this video is probably 2 hours long. Thank you for everyone who asked your questions. Again, if you made it this far or you skipped to the end, Patreon link will be in the description. The new Q&A thread will be there, and the video will be better edited. Have a great day, guys. See you in the next one.